Hello there and welcome back to War Thunder. Today we will have the episode 56 of the Dub Talks, and we all know what the topic will be. It is about pre-battle training and also the modification upgrades. And that was a very bad idea of Gaijin to bring this forth as this kind of dev block, not just at this time but in that form. It's just greedy, it's money grabbing, it is pay to win. It's a very bad thing to do. Wouldn't really help the game in any way, shape or form, and again would be a big slap in the face of people that want to be competitive, that grinded their way through all the stock grind of a tank or a plane, and then there are people out there that just pick their credit card and purchase even further upgrades. Now, overall, what does this actually mean? Well, there is actually here the dev block of which I made photos or screenshots rather, and you can read it for yourself. But basically, in quintessence, it means so far that for the survivability upgrades that you can have on your tank, like fire prevention equipment, the parts, and also the crew replenishment, you're not just getting a further charge, so more and more consumables, but you're also having improved status on this. So for the parts you have a 10% faster repair, and for the fire prevention equipment you extinguish the fire faster. And we all know how precious time is in tank RP with the fast pace that there is throughout the battle rating. So faster repair time, you repair and you have less of those moments where an enemy is coming around 3 seconds before your gun breach is repaired, or you burn down while you are already extinguishing the fire. So I think that is not all, because you also get a further charge on the fire prevention equipment, and you also can get back one more crew member if you choose so. And that's just, if you read closely into the lines, what they have planned for now. And that means also further things can be improved, and that gives you then, I guess, more horsepower out of your engine, less ground pressure on your tracks because the tracks might be improved, or you lose less horsepower in the transmission or the fuel filters. So your tank gets faster. And if you think about the Leopard 1 that came immediately to my mind, it was like, what the hell? Because a Leopard, is, or a leopard if you're English and insist on it, it's called Leopard in German, so I insist on pronouncing it that way. I think that a lot of the fast tanks, that have horsepower to ton ratios of 20 or exceeding them, they are sometimes running against the wall. They accelerate, and suddenly 40-50 kilometers an hour, and they just don't accelerate anymore on flat medium terrain, whereas in the stat card it is said that they are running 70, or they could run 70. And if you are on a hard road, you actually could accelerate in time to that speed in a straight line, but those circumstances are rather rare, so it's not really reflecting the reality. So of a fast tank, if you take away the speed, you have a tank without armor, and that's not very good, is it? So hence I really hate the Leopard. But one thought that came to my mind: what if Gaijin makes further upgrades to the already existing modifications, getting you a jump over that wall, and you then could actually drive 70 kilometers an hour? Now I tell you the greater picture here. People like me, like Mike Goes Boom, like Many Miles Away, and other responsible YouTubers would make videos about that. If they would rant or not doesn't really matter a thing, because they would mention that, and they would all say things like, that's not good, that's pay to win, and so forth. And then there are two parts of the community out there. The one part that is saying, oh man, that is awful, Gaijin, please don't do this, Gaijin, please fix this, it's pay to win, I don't like that. The other part is silent, picking their credit card and purchasing hardcore. Yes, there is a way to get it for free, but Michael's Boom calculated it through, and according to his post on Twitter, it's like that you need 3 months of harvesting the modules via the Warpoint shop to get one module for one tank, a permanent module or modification upgrade. And that means that people with a credit card just are more competitive. And I think this is a big slap in the face for people that, you know, went through the stock grind and grinded their way hardcore, and then there is somebody with the credit card not just getting the modules for free, you know, it's a free-to-play title, but the way that it works is also discussable, with certain tanks having a worse stock grind than others. And the thing that then exceeding that, you have hardcore limits with what you can achieve in a free-to-play manner, a way. And so a credit card is then the way to be more competitive. To give you an example what this means with the fire prevention equipment, imagine you have purchased an MX-30 with the, well, unreliable heat shell. So you're hitting crew, you're hitting ammo racks, you're hitting modules, but they don't blow up. And the most reliable way is to set someone's engine on fire 3 times to let him burn down. So not just does he extinguish the fires faster so that dead time of the tank is there, he can rotate the gun faster than you might expect from previous engagements. So if you fire the heat shell into the engine, because you might have caught him off guard, you know, camping somewhere, and his gun is blocked by a rock and you have his engine. So you set him on fire once and twice, he extinguishes twice pretty fast, and you're already wondering, well, that's strange, okay, I set him on fire a 3rd time. Now already with the 3rd time it's discussable, because there are so many tanks floating around, they listen to your gun blast, to your gun sound, they see the muzzle flash, they see the smoke, they see the help cry of their team member on the minimap, you get marked, but you're sticking in the same position. And then, you know, you either move away thinking he will burn down, and then he extinguishes it for the 3rd time, and you're not getting even a kill out of this, but it's more likely that you get killed in the process by even a AAA or SPA. And then you have to stay in the position for the 4th shot, and then he might burn down. And then that's not even a guaranteed kill. That is then maybe even a kill assist if a team member comes around and plants just an APHE round into the crew compartment, and you get a kill assist. So that leads to even more frustration. There are so many aspects out there about this thing that are so wrong, and that's just one module. Think about the engine, think about the if we talk about the mobility, think about the tracks upgrades, think about the engine upgrades, think about the transmission upgrades. You get so much faster, noticeably faster, and in conjunction then with also the ACE qualification, that makes your tank so much better than a stock tank or a free-to-play fully upgraded tank. And the same goes for your weapon system. Maybe your gun elevation speed is higher, maybe your turret traverse is faster, and maybe your rate of fire gets higher, and your, I don't know, even the shells might get more penetration. So this is this legendary upgrade nonsense that we see currently getting into World of Warships. It's work in progress still, but you know, it is like copy and paste of this in an even worse state. Then it's like the consumables of World of Tanks. It's like gold ammo. It's so awful, and the backlash of the community had epic proportions. And so I was glad about this. But you know, let's not stop there. Let's think the Gaijin way. We have seen not completely unsimilar things in the past. So when there was this backlash about, cheaters in War Thunder, covered by a bigger YouTuber, I'm not saying here the name for various reasons, but at the end Gaijin came around, and the CEO, Anton Udisev, or how he is called, actually made a poll giving us the decision if we, the community, allow Gaijin to strike down such videos on YouTube, which is hilarious by itself, or the other options, being just Gaijin, they threatened us with bringing back markers into Tank RB and Tank Simulator. And I wouldn't be surprised if they would have pulled that out, and if they will pull out that in the future, and then the community has to stick again. And the only reason why the community stuck together is because it affected everybody. And there was like 93-95% of the votes were against this. The comments were there, the the forums were on fire, memes just everywhere on War Thunder Live. So the response was quite dramatic for Gaijin. So what do I think about it? Well, I think this is blind greed. This is stupid to bring it forth in that way, in that obvious pay-to-win fashion, killing even more historical accuracy. Once Gaijin smells blood in the water or money in their pockets, there is no end to it. And I think Gaijin should really, really think about using the potential of the game in the right way, fixing issues, addressing problems instead of blind money grabbing. I'm already boycotting the M1 Abrams prototypes because they are a direct purchase into top tier gameplay of War Thunder in the current state. And in all the things, I still hope it will change for the better. So this is now directly to Gaijin. Gaijin, do we really have to go this way over and over again? I love your game. I've done 5 years of playing, over 1,100 days of continuous logging in. So it's not I play this game on a semi-regular basis, I play it on a daily basis. There is so much potential. Please consider using it. Give us a good game and you get a better reputation, you get happy players, you get more players, reducing queue times, solving so many problems and getting even more money out of the game, and the game might live on for more years than the expected lifetime that we have now. And that's the end of the direct message to Gaijin. I don't think anybody will hear it, but they really are wasting so much potential. I mean, think about Enduring Confrontation, the topic from the last Duck Talks. Think about the World War mode. Think about the steady state of Tank RB, and also no Air RB map coming, except those reworked, Tank RB maps with their stupid copy-paste pattern of ground units and bombing points, which is hilariously lazy, I guess. So Gaijin could do so much more, and a lot of the changes, I think, at least in my opinion, wouldn't be that much work, but it would be a life improvement. Maybe Gaijin should consider, or must consider, a life improvement patch. And if they do that, I would be very happy. And that will, in the long term, bring more money to the game. But actions like these, dumb money grabbing, blind greed, that kills a game. Think about Armored Warfare. They were too early, way too greedy, and it was so obvious that they just wanted money, and they killed their own game. And it's in a horrible state, and it's not even in full release, I guess. I'm really not. I've played Armored Warfare for a few games and then thought to myself, well, this is a direct clone of World of Tanks. And I'm not talking here about the health bars or the spotting mechanic. It's a more greater detail. And at first, Armored Warfare had a very good approach, improving World of Tanks and making it more pretty. And now World of Tanks has raised the bar by reworking artillery, which was a long-term issue, and they were never ready to fix this. Maybe the ultimate solution to all the problems that there are out there with War Thunder is a competitor that copies War Thunder and improves it. And then Gaijin will feel pressure, because now they have nothing to fear. And as pretty as World of Tanks looks right now, in certain aspects it's even prettier than War Thunder. Yes, I know, shocking, right? They just have the same problems that repel players playing that game and still playing War Thunder. But once that changes, War Thunder has a big problem. And so they are forced, in my opinion, to improve the game. Now we are talking here about patch after patch, rant after rant, year after year of asking for the same, fixing the game. And instead of fixing that, they invest their developer time and their thinking time in that nonsense. I'm not ranting here, I'm just, if it wouldn't be about the game that I played, it would be very, very comical and I would have a good laugh about this, but in that way it's just, oh, Gaijin. Yeah, and I think that's about it with that topic. Now let's answer some questions from last Duck Talks. So first question comes from Santi Azen. What do you think about the Cyber Girl in BFV trailer? Well, I couldn't care less about this because all battlefields and all, I don't know, battlefronts and all ego shooters out there from those big companies, I don't care about them anymore. They're just so dull, they're same but with different graphic and boring. And if this is an insult to, people of the Second World War, again, I couldn't care more because this is not historical accuracy in the first place, so it's without value to me. Then Souls Mans, do you know how often they run this event? I think he's talking about Enduring Confrontation. I like it and I want to join it next time. Well, first of all, they run it on an irregular basis. I have no idea when they let it run. It's an event, so you have to watch out for the weekends where they most of the time let it run, and then it's just of short notice. Again, a problem within War Thunder, that there is no real planning ahead. Then Sam Pete asks, Napalm, do you reckon the introduction of the hash firing Centurion AVRE will make Gaijin fix hash? Well, I was on the dev server recently and I've tried out this thing. First of all, the AVRE has a lot of problems. It has no backup machine gun, the rate of fire is really slow, the trajectory is awful, it's as awful as on the Sturmpanzer 2. So try out the German Tech Tree Sturmpanzer 2 and then you will see how you have to aim with this thing. It's awful. And for top tier, I'm not quite sure, with the gaps in the era protection and a lot of people firing AP FSDS all the way at its battle rating and above, I don't really see it being a very good premium. It's a novelty, it's hilarious, but I have also shot the tanks in the test drive, and there was one thing, so it was really difficult to hit them in the first place. And then when I hit them, I very often needed multiple shots to blow them up. And then I was complaining to certain people, to my secret document boys on the Discord, and they were saying, yeah, you have to aim for the turret. Really, I have to aim for the turret. Can I have heat FS in the first place? Maybe APDS? With a high rate of fire, better trajectory. I don't need an the AVRE, and I think the damage output, I hit directly the sloped plate where the driver sits, and the driver absorbed everything. He absorbed all the shrapnels. And of course, if you hit the fuel tank, it will absorb all the shrapnels. So regardless of the penetration, I'm not very excited about this tank. The next question, or rather comments, come from Asif Talpur, and I try to answer them in order. First of all, about a Discord. No, I don't think that I need a Discord, because it would end up with all the other Discords, and I'm not there on the Discord. I need my time to play the game, and I cannot have a talk on the Discord and play the game and have a good recording. And I'm hanging out on other Discords all the way through, so you might repopulate the Beehive Squadron, Mike Goes Boom's Discord, or Many Miles Away's Discord. There are some other Discords, but I have just a rather rare appearance on them. So that's about the Discord. Then, yes, 240 kilometers an hour, I will no longer film that, or I will not film that again, I guess. There is a little part where I filmed it actually on the Autobahn on my recent T95 video. I hope you get the joke. And no, it was not a BMW driver. Then about the Leopard 1, I don't want to make a review on it because the tank is too slow, it has no real armor, and the gun is bad, the damage output is bad, the accuracy is bad, the stock grind is horrible, whereas every other tank has either stabilizer, higher rate of fire, or better ammunition, or better armor. So it's not a very enjoyable tank. If you have problems with this tank, ask yourself why. Use in this case your experience. What is the problem? You have to flank with it, but you're not fast enough for it. You have to have a very hard gun, the L7 gun, but in fact it's a horrible stock grind and very unreliable. I don't think this tank is very good and very fun, at least in my perspective. Another question comes from Kenny Lin. Hey Napalmratte, I want to play some balanced high tier tanks. Oh, really? And I ended up with two tanks, T44 and STB1. Which one is better? Which nation has better top tier? My win rate of the Type 61 is 36%, while T3485 is 59%. So, didn't you get yourself the answer right away? I think the STB1 is overall better than the T44, but the T44 just brings in the kills more effortlessly. So, it's up to you. Play what you have fun playing. That's what actually it comes down to. And then Osku asks, damn, you really like money. Are you Jewish? Yes, I totally am. I learned from the best, from the salty ego boy. Then there is a very interesting comment from Hey or Aha. Hey Napalm, I got a question. So since an update after patch 1.77, Gaijin gave the T64A a better, more pen APFSDS shell, while the KPZ MBT70 didn't get a new better one. Do you have any idea why? I know that T64A was underperforming after 1.77, but the KPZ was too. I hope I get better ammo next patch. What do you think? Well, it is down to historical accuracy. Hold on, hold your horses. It's not just down to historical accuracy, but what you actually want to come up with. So there are facts, and then there are facts that you bring to the table. So when a tank has bad stats, or it is underperforming, then you also can give it different ammunition. And we saw it in the old days with the IS-2 mod 1944, when it had the post-war APCBC round, arguably because it had to face the mouse, which then was reduced, and it got a battle rating reduction as compensation for it. The thing is this, I think those tanks are longer in lifetime. So the T64A, when it was introduced, might not have gotten this shell right away, but later on it might have gotten it. And then, that is a reason, or that is an argument to bring it if the tank needs it. With the KPZ, I don't know. I'm not an expert on historical accuracy on those tanks, but honestly, it's top tier. Gaijin is bringing on all kinds of shenanigans, and there is historical accuracy, and then they find new historical documents and secret documents and all those stuff. I can't care less. I'm sorry if you have invested so much time in the KPZ or MBT70, but for me those tanks were not that enjoyable in the first place. Sorry about this. Marco GN97 question. I'm a PS4 player and I've recently bought keypad and mouse for it to play. So do you have any special settings in your controls that in your opinion are very good? Will you ever make a video about your keyboard settings, both planes and tanks? Yes, I actually considered this, but I'm waiting for the new patch to do that, because then there is a new game mechanic in there with the Fritz X, to the guided bomb, or how the settings will turn out on this. I have to figure it out, and then the video will be very much on point, and it then is up to the new patch. So it would be a kind of a waste if I would make it before the patch, if I know that something will change with the new patch, right? Then we come to the next question, and it's actually the last question that I want to answer, and it's from RC3536. What's your opinion on the possible addition of GDR tanks, and which nation will receive them, Germany or the USSR? Well, I guess the logical thing would be that it would be Germany, if there were some modifications done exclusively in the GDR, it should be Germany. But the original version could be added to the Soviet tech tree as well. It's an interesting topic, and we have seen that in the past with the MiG-15 bis and the CL-13 for jets. So no reason to not do it in tanks. And if Germany requires those tanks, why not? It's a project for the future. It will be very, very interesting to do so. And I think a lot of the questions that have I not answered now in the comment section or in the answer section of the video, I answered with a comment. So for the next Dark Talks, if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. Give the video a like if it did, subscribe if you want to see more, and that's finally for me. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we'll see each other on the battlefields and in the skies of War Thunder.